Greetings and thanks for tuning in today. My name is Dr. Jeanette DeWitt. I'm a doctor of physical therapy and I specialize in precision neuromuscular therapy or medical massage and performance coaching. Now, when I am working with runners who have a problem with rounding their shoulders forward, or they're getting fatigued at the end of a race, whether it's a 5K, 10K, marathon, doesn't matter. If I'm seeing them starting to lean forward, it's telling me that obviously they're tired, but also it tells me that their upper body control is probably not where it should be. So what I like to do is teach them a rhomboid row with a set scapula. And what that means is that we purposely and are very intentional about creating control in the shoulder blade, also known as your scapula, and the shoulder, as well as your mid-back strength, which is the rhomboid muscles between both of the shoulder blades. But we focus on doing one side at a time so that we're not compensating. The other reason we don't want to compensate is sometimes when you do them together, like with a weight machine, your dominant side is going to do more work, and you actually don't know if you have an imbalance between one side or the other. The other thing I like to do is I like to use a ball on the opposite side that I'm rowing. This creates some shoulder stability and what we call proprioception, knowing where your body is in space. It helps you have that shoulder control and shoulder to shoulder blade connection because you're supporting your body weight on this side as you row on the other side. And with running or rucking, there's a lot of reciprocal or asymmetrical movements, and we want to mimic that in a controlled way with our training. So let me show you how this works. So I'm going to pick up the weight and I'm going to get set in position. Make sure that the leg that you are going to be rowing on is in the back, almost like a lunge position, because when you row, you don't want to hit your knee if that side knee is also forward. So we get into position, and it's a 4-step process. So you want to look down slightly in front of you so that you're not cocking your head back or tucking your chin. You want your head in good alignment with your back. And then you're going to set your shoulder blade. So you're going to squeeze that shoulder blade back and down. Then you're going to row by focusing on pulling your elbow past your trunk. And then you're going to come down and relax. So let's go through that. So we set, row, down, relax. Set, row, down, relax. Set, row, down, relax. Set, row, down, relax. And typically, I'm going to have somebody do a set of 10 on that. Depends on what we're working on. And then we're going to switch to the other side. And I'll explain that in a minute here. But the same thing, when we switch to the other side, now the roles are reversed. Now the side that's on the ball is going to get the compression and through the shoulder and the stability. And then the other side is going to be rowing. So we go through the same thing and the same process. So we set, row, down, relax. Set, row, down, relax. Set, row, down, relax. Set, row, down, relax. And one more. Set, row, down, relax. So I did 5 reps on each side. Normally I would do 10. Now what I was talking about is how many sets, how many reps you do is really about the intention of the exercise. So if the intention is activation and re-education, like training the muscle what it's supposed to do, and you're doing it in a different way, then I might stay with 1 set of 10 or 1 set of 15 reps because I'm just teaching the muscle what to do. Now, if I'm past that phase and I'm actually wanting to build some strength, there's a few ways you can do that. You can stay with the same weight and do 3 sets of 10. That is the traditional way. And in that case, what I would do is one set on one side, one set on the other, and I would just alternate back and forth. The reason I would do that instead of taking rest breaks is because the side that's not working is kind of getting an active rest break by working differently on the stability ball. So when you do that, you maximize your time in the gym, you make your workout go quicker, but you're also giving rest to muscles as they work differently. Now, the other way I can use this exercise is to do a pyramid, which might be I start with lighter weight on the first set and keep my 10 to 15 reps. On the second set, I drop my reps down a little bit, but I increase my weight. And then on the third set, I lift even more, but drop my reps again. You could do it that way. That's called ramping up with your weight, or you could ramp down. You could start with the heavier weight and less reps. Then the second round, you would go ahead and decrease your weight slightly, but increase your reps. And in the third round, you could decrease your weight even more, but do higher reps. So that's another way you can train with that. If I am working more on endurance of the muscle, which is very common in endurance athletes, whether you're a runner, a walker, or whether you do a run-walk type program, or whether you're rucking, you can do an endurance program which is high reps and lower weight. So for example, I might want to do 8 pounds, and that's what I was lifting to demonstrate. I might do 8 pounds, 15 reps, 3 sets, or I might do even 20 reps with 8 pounds to work on endurance of the muscles. And as far as frequency, it would just be 2 to 3 times a week with this. So when I'm working with somebody, I just try and factor in what their goals are, what the intention and the purpose of the exercise is based on the training cycle I'm working with them. So are they coming back from an injury? Are they a new person who's never really exercised before? Then we have to do a lot of what we call neuromuscular re-education and train the muscle and activate the muscle groups. Are we strength training? Are we focusing on endurance with posture and stability? Or are we looking for power? Because if we're looking for power, we're going to lift a lot heavier but have a lot less reps. So every exercise always is intentional. I don't do junk exercises, I like to call, just for the sake of doing exercises. They always serve a purpose. And so when you're looking at your training plan, you should be asking yourself those questions too. What phase of training am I in? What is my intention with this exercise? Do I even need this exercise? Or do I need to streamline what I'm doing? If you have questions about that and want to reach out to me, go ahead and message me. And go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You're going to get a lot of information on with my videos there. Thanks a lot, and I appreciate you tuning in.